Hello, everyone, and welcome to Toku Podcast. I'm Ryan. With me is
Drago.
welcome to Power Rangers Beast Morphers, episode 10. Uh, so Evox has not had anything go well for him for like 2 months. Save that one really good mission that they had where they stole like an entire tower of Morphex.
It's okay. I was just gonna say that I know these are the most competent villains that we have had in a while, but still, but also the fact that they even after having good plans, they got foiled because of some because either the Rangers or some external factor they didn't predict, especially the Cybergate one. That one was all that one was all Nate's fault. And the second time they tried it was Steele's because he had human DNA. So yeah, they have been kind of successful, but again, like the initial step to the getting the plan done is pretty fine, but always at the execution they botch it.
So he blames it on Blaze and Roxy just not being good enough. Uh, or Scrozzle does, whatever. Evox calls Scrozzle out, like, can you do any better? And Scrozzle's, no, but I can make them better. And he makes some data chips that can, like, absorb the animal powers from the Rangers. Only three, though, for red, blue, and yellow, because what can gold and silver do? I don't know.
Yeah, they probably don't have animal powers at all. Oh wait, right, I forgot. Mantis and Scarab
Beetle.
DNA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scarab. I don't know.
So, what are their powers even?
Well, Steel's a robot.
Yeah, makes sense. But Nate is the problem.
I think I think Nate ripped himself off here. I don't think he thought this one
Pretty
through.
much. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Because they were using the makeshift one he made from blasting Evox's cybergate. So
Uh, so Evox explains the situation to Blaze and Roxy, and only one of them can be upgraded from collecting the animal powers. Uh, so he's basically making a contest between them, and Roxy is up to bat first. And infighting is just one of those villain tropes where you know it's going to end badly because they're fighting. They're going to just end up fighting each other more than they're fighting the good guys.
yeah. But it is nice to see It is nice to see like who's gonna get the upgrade. It just makes the villain plot interesting as well. Because hero will go through the character journey and development, but you keep like the serialized format going. I really like that they're using the villains to move that point forward.
I feel like Blaze is going to get it. Just trying to think about like Dark Buster from Go Busters. Like I think Blaze is going to be the one to get the upgrade.
Uh, at least the theory that I have is I think Roxy is gonna get the upgrade because an escape suit they can use the Sentai footage finally. Blaze might
Oh,
get one. Blaze might get one maybe like next season, but again, at least
change
this
up
is
the
what I'm
suit so that
theorizing.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. That would be beneficial for them. Okay. Uh, so cut to the Rangers at the Riptide Gym where the music is like the first three chords to the original Power Rangers, but it's only those three chords on repeat. Like, okay, at first I was like down for the homage, but then that's all we just kept getting is those three chords, and it's like, could you not afford to pay the artist more than that?
I'm pretty sure like they were like I'm pretty sure they blew the budget of this on the previous episode where they were using Steel's actual body to film the entire footage instead of his ranger suit. So I guess they could make some cuts here and there.
Anyways, Ravi has a toothache for some reason, and he's super scared of dentists because he doesn't like drills. Whatever.
Yeah. I, uh,
Uh, uh,
uh,
so Roxy steals a drill from a worker fixing a street lamp, and I'm willing to believe that she snuck up behind him. I'm willing to believe that she was able to reach into his pocket to take something that I'm noticing. But that is a heavy ass drill that I feel like he would have noticed the weight behind.
yeah, but
It wouldn't add
you
anything to the
know,
episode, but it's just a weird
yeah,
detail.
it's a weird detail. It's again sometimes people will just bring anything out of
Yeah.
center and write it as well. So
So yeah, whatever. Uh,
whatever.
she makes a drill monster, and then the Rangers show up to fight, and she literally just like has the drill monster burrow a hole into the ground, and they escape after like 3 seconds of fighting.
Yeah, but it was pretty. It is pretty smart too for the drill to escape.
Yeah. Uh, Ravi like blames his toothache for letting them escape, and the others are just like, just go to a dentist, dude. Or if you're really that scared of dentists, look up some home recipes on the internet. Like there's one that involves salt water.
Yeah, I do know that, but to be honest, like if your toothache gets too bad, I think that it's better you go to a dentist
Yeah,
because you might have to like either fill in cavities or like remove the tooth itself, which doing at home is kind of not great.
which I don't think he was getting a tooth pulled. Like, but yeah, you definitely should go see a dentist as like the best option.
Yeah, and I know people in real life who are really scared of dentists like that. So this episode was me imagining my friends doing doing the same shit. I literally had to rush them. I literally had to grab them, take them, get an appointment beforehand, and then drag them to the dentist. And making sure they stayed in the dentist clinic was one of the hardest thing I've done because they wouldn't want to go, and then they one of their one teeth of theirs was really getting very bad with cavities.
Uh, so the end of the episode where Ravi steps out of the office and like all the other Rangers are there waiting for him must have really hit home for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we do get something like I didn't really care for the toothache plotline, but we do get something really good out of it, which is Ben and Betty.
Yeah, they're really good. I don't know why, but like in this chunk of episodes, like I think I really am starting to like Ben and Betty.
They're figuring out how they should be doing their characters, and the writers are figuring out how to like write the scenarios for them.
Yeah, and it's also the fact that like you know how in the early episodes I think sometimes they used to treat Ben and Betty like a separate entity. Now they feel more like part of a team.
Oh yeah, Like, I was actually surprised to see Ben and Betty were the ones who took him to the dentist. It's like, you know what? That's wholesome. I like that.
Yeah, and it just makes sense at the like it just makes a lot of like at least like Ben and Betty would be their friends because they're nearly around the same age, and also the fact that it's what do you call it, and also the fact that they are also working, they're also co-workers in this place. So yeah, I really like that they are actually building a relationship between all of them.
So they talk Ravi about like, yeah, this is their family dentist. They come here every time. It's a great place. Everyone always leaves smiling. And then the opposite happens, where a woman who probably did get a tooth pulled or a cavity filled comes out with like the bandage around her face, like she's still in pain. Uh,
Yeah, okay, this one, what do you call it? What was hilarious was that they saw the guy on the other end who was fixing this stuff using the, and then I really like the shadow, what do you call it? The gag they used for the shadow
the
guy
silhouette.
behind the, yeah, the silhouette. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It worked out pretty well, and I just love that like Ben and Betty's paranoia builds up slowly to the point where they're like, "Nah, man, we're not even scheduled for appointments, and we're getting out of here."
uh, and is this a thing in America? Well, America as well, like their paranoia for dentists being having large drills.
Um, Not necessarily large drills, but drills in general. People don't like the idea of something spinning, some like metal spinning object like that in their mouth. Uh,
Oh.
for oversized objects, it's usually like oversized needles, because the bigger the needle, they associate that with more pain.
Hmm. Okay. Now okay. I think I understand now.
Like over like a paranoia of dentists and drills is a thing, but it's not typically oversized drills. It's like the regular sized ones usually. But needles, however, those are always oversized.
Uh, it's understandable. Okay, now let's. What had it happen next?
Um, so they can't find Roxy and the Robotron. They realize like, wait, they probably just stayed underground. And then Nate gets the idea of, what if they're in the old sewer system, like the storm drains or whatever? So
Yeah,
Steel and Aravi, who abandoned the dentist, go to check it out. And sure enough, they run into them. Also, Nate has a fear of spiders, and there's a bunch of spider webs down here. And this is a storm drain, right? That's what they said.
yeah.
So the fact that there are all those like cobwebs and such down here means that this hasn't been used in a long time. So good on that. Like, hey, they haven't had any like major floods.
And also that they really it's a nice continuity nod, like because few episodes ago when Nate was getting his getting DNA for the animals, for the insects, for his for testing it out, he did say that he was scared of spiders.
Yeah, he did mention it earlier. It's just, it just comes
Yeah,
up
so
in this one part where they're hiding around the corner while watching Roxy and the like robot like drill beneath the Morphex's tower. Uh, and then a spider lands on Nate's shoulder, and he has to like face his fear to get it off of him. And he does the worst possible thing though. Like he just straight up grabs it. Like that's how you get spiders to bite you, dude.
and and also the fact that I've not seen people with arachnophobia do that
Like,
and like be fine with it.
yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
if that was me, like I'm that scared of spiders. And if I was going to be so ballsy as to just straight up grab it, the very next thing would be throwing it against the wall and then immediately taking off my jacket, shoving it into the ground and stepping on it. Like,
Yeah.
uh,
But
if
again,
there's a spider on your shoulder or something and you want it off, prompt it to gently prompt it to step onto your hand so that you may relocate it onto another surface that is not you. Do not just straight up grab it.
yeah, and also that if you, especially if you have arachnophobia, don't do that because it's not gonna work.
Also, if your friend has arachnophobia and there is a spider on their shoulder, be a bro and take it off for them.
Yeah, that was the one of the most weirdest thing that I've seen because he should have just removed it out.
Like, Steel is right there. He would be allowed to just grab it.
Yeah,
He is made of metal. Uh,
and he's brave enough to do that because steel is steel.
right. Like, they talk about how Roxy mentions how, like, oh, everyone has their fear. That's human. And then she has that awkward moment where she looks at Steel because, like, he's half human. And it's like, and then she just ignores it. Like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah, okay, yeah. One of the few things is the small moments like this actually make the episode better. Because I have to say, Steel is okay. I like I like Jay, and I really like Steel as well. Because these two are the best characters in their own damn respective shows, just for the mere existence.
Uh,
Uh, and
so,
even Roxy is doing amazing. Uh,
so they overhear Roxy order a Giga drone on the other side of the city to distract the Rangers. So Nate just calls it in, like, hey, uh, send the other two over that way. And of course, because it's the drill, based off of the drill guy, it's underground and they can't beat it without the Megazord. Uh,
yeah.
so we get, like, an interesting fight sequence. The data chip does collect the gorilla strength from Ravi. It doesn't steal it from him, it just basically, like, copies the information.
Okay. And also the fact that what do you call it? That I really like the nod that they did that Rangers in the Megazord form have, since like they use energy projection as their weapon.
Hmm.
It would be much easy. You know how in Megazord form they use energy projection to, like, they can extend this. They can actually hit targets using by encasing them in bubble and using energy projection sword to actually kill it.
Right. And that's what they do
So
here.
I really, yeah, I really like that they didn't actually use a. They actually had an explanation to why that happens instead of, like, just doing it, and why the Megazord was necessary. That I really that I enjoyed, and also the fact, also the silver and gold fight against the ground monster is also pretty cool.
I'm liking their choreography together. Uh, it was pretty good in Go Busters, and the unique footage here is like replicating that. I like that.
Yeah, and it is pretty. And wait, what else happened there? Because it's been weeks since I've seen this episode. I don't remember.
Uh, that's pretty much it. Like after they defeat the monsters, Roxy pieces out. She brings the data back to Evox, and like she begs, like, "All right, I did it. I got one. Give it to me quick." But it's like, no, no, no. You guys gotta get all three first. And now it's Blaze's turn.
It's a collectathon! Yay!
Uh, it's
God, I could share more.
you don't often see the villains get a collectathon arc, okay?
Yeah. It's fun to be honest. It's a nice neat little story arc they started, and I am enjoying this.
Uh, Ravi, also having seen Nate face his fear of spiders, decides to face his fear of the dentist. And he goes to the dentist. And when he gets out, all the other Rangers are waiting for him. And Steel just straight up says it, like, we were just making sure you didn't run away. Like I love his delivery when Zoe or whoever is just like, he's kidding, and Steel's just like, no, I'm not. He ran away last time.
Yeah, I really love you.
Steel is great. Steel is perfect. Uh,
Yeah.
then Ravi pulls out a fake spider to uh, hey, and because you got over your fear of spiders, and then Nate pretends to be super scared, and then he reveals he was just joking, and Nate is still scared of spiders though. It doesn't go away just like that. Like he's got to still be scared of spiders.
Yeah, I probably think that because that was a toy, he was fine with it.
Yeah,
But you know what? I think Nate scared the living shit out of Ravi by
yeah.
pretending that. Oh, that was this. I don't know. Like com- uh, it's not that the primary three are that terrible, but like I'm not saying that they're terrible at all. They're actually, in fact, good enough characters. But the gold and silver are really good this season.
Uh,
I really enjoy Need and Steel.
how many episodes are we getting for like season one? Basically, is it just like 20?
Yeah, 20, and then we already got a season 2 trailer. So
Right. And then that's gonna be the second 20. Okay.
yeah, it's
Uh,
I think 44 episodes in
God.
total, and thankfully it's called Beast Morphers season 2 and not Super Beast Morphers.
Right. Like Hasbro is being smart about this. Like it's the same show. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah. And I'm pretty excited, like what's gonna happen in this in the next year with all these fears of Sentai cancellations and stuff. I don't know whether that's actually
Well,
gonna happen because Ryu
it
Soldiers is
right.
selling well.
Oh, it's not.
It is selling well.
Oh, it is? Okay. Ryu Soldier is basically like what's going to determine it. Because if Ryu Soldier doesn't sell well enough, we stop getting Sentai as an annual series.
Yeah,
Whether
I
that
don't
means
know.
they'll make a Sentai show like every few years or just whenever they feel like they didn't specify.
Yeah, but as far as the show is concerned, I'm not feeling it.
Oh,
It's but the toys are really good though.
I like it better than I thought I was going to. And I was telling Zero about it yesterday on the podcast, and he was actually surprised at like some of the darker themes that they have.
Yeah, I do agree. Like the especially the metaphor for suicide that has been going on
Man,
for a
they
while in the
yeah
first 10
they're
episodes.
not playing around.
Yeah, but it just the problem is that the Sentai stuff and the darker thematic element stuff don't mix well enough, which is what I have problem with, and especially like the previous episode. What do you call it? Episode 60.
Like,
I think the episode where like uh, when the sister of Canalo asks Mel out for some reason. Oh yeah.
uh,
Yeah, the sister of Canalo, they made the I'm 123 years old joke with like a 12-year-old actor, which I was really uncomfortable with. It just was bad.
oh, the that was
Otherwise,
that was kind of the joke, is that she's technically an adult, but to them she's just a 12-year-old girl.
yeah, but that joke has been overplayed in anime and stuff. So
Uh,
I just had a really bad reaction
okay,
to
so
that.
you've burned out. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I just dropped out of Resoldier right at then and there because that was just
Oh, they don't bring it up in the episodes that come after that. They have not brought it up again.
uh that's quite nice. I think I'll continue once I am finally back again. This one, what do you call it? I'm
Uh,
finally back to normal again. After
but
that,
worst case scenario, Ryu Soldier tanks and we don't get Sentai anymore. Uh, Hasbro has, let's see here. They have Tokyuger, um,
you Hojer,
Juoger. They have Key
Key
Ranger
Ranger,
and Lupat
Lupat, and Ryu Soldier as well.
and Ryu Soldier. So that is 5 Sentai that they still have to adapt to get their money back.
Yeah, and Five Santa is gonna last them for 10 years if they
If
can
they if they if they
squeeze
still
it.
have this Nickelodeon contract.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
I
in
mean,
that
like,
time, even if Sentai doesn't straight up get canceled, but just becomes like non-annual, like they could get like a couple more in that time to work with.
yeah, and or they could if Hasbro has since Hasbro doesn't have ties to Bandai, they could technically speaking abandon the what do you call it?
Stock
Abandon
footage.
adapting yeah, abandon the stock footage and make their own.
Huh. Oh,
But again,
what if they got the rights to reuse some of the older suits without the stock footage? Like they just take like the Jetman suits and make something with that.
Uh, the only problem is that Jetman suits and all,
They
not Jetman suits, sorry, the older suits from other older seasons have been being used in the comics for explaining the Rangers that came before Mighty Morphin.
Oh,
Like,
okay, so that's off the table.
yeah, like some of the suits that basically got used in Super Mega Force because Jonathan Zacher was being a cheapo
God.
for not editing the footage properly and using the Sentai suits. They have been using though he have been explaining that away, saying that they were season themes from the past.
Oh well. Still, if they decide to, if they were to go through that route of just like, all right, because they will just like make our own thing. There's a proof of concept here in this show, because they're using a lot more unique footage than stock footage, with most of the stock footage being just the Megazord stuff.
Yeah, and I think the problem with not having a stock wait what do you call it not having a Megazord stock footage is there, but the good thing is that unlike Japan where mechas sell more than action figures, here like in America and rest and most of the Western countries and other places, like it's mostly action figures that sell more.
Maybe they could do like a Q Ranger where they just throw in the mech fight at the for the last 2 minutes, have it shoot a couple of laser beams, and then call it good.
Or not having, or no, I'm pretty sure. I think not having a mech fight beats that.
Uh, maybe they could, yeah, experiment, like Hey, what if we just do one that where they don't have giant robots and see how that works?
Yeah, and maybe like
Yeah,
giant robots become like the basically in the final arc they have like the when the enemies finally start sending giant robots. That's where they use their budget by making Zords.
like like adult fans would outrage and call it sacrilege, but their target audience wouldn't
Uh,
care.
yeah, pretty much. The what do you call it? The people who I know, like some kids who do watch Power Rangers in my area, they really like they don't like the Megazord fights, to be honest. So
Oh,
I'm yeah, I'm not saying that it is the what do you call it? What do you call it? It is necessarily an opinion that's all across the board among kids, but at least the kids I know don't like the Megazord fights. They like the more what they call action on the ground.
that makes sense because all of the mech fights don't really take advantage of what their potential is.
Yeah, and especially since Bandai has been making more gaudy, what do you call it, toys that attach a lot than
Auxiliaries.
actual practical, yeah, than auxiliaries and actual practical, what do you call it, Zords, like, that have a lot of mobility so that they can do film action better.
Like before before Lupat, what Sentai series do you remember having actually good mech fights that like you were engaged for?
Gokaiger.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Gokaiger, that also only I think when they are not combined with like and to make a larger Megazord. Unless that didn't happen, like Gokaiger was the only season where I actually cared about the Megazord fight because they were interesting, and also how they tied the entire what do you call it, like gaining the Rangers powers and then using other that Zords from the past season, a variation of them to you know attach itself to their body.
That's
It
fair.
was a pretty that which is a pretty nice what do you call it use of that there was a pretty nice way to make it interesting. Otherwise Megazord fight had been boring for the very long time.
As much as I liked Tokuger, I remember like zero of its actual Megazord fights, but I remember multiple instances of just trains on rails shooting at each other, and that was really cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was also really nice because okay, currently I'm watching Tokyo right now, and I'm pretty I think I'm pretty early on at episode 15 or something, and it's Megazord fights are okay. No, it's not as bad as Lupin.
Orange has the best mech in Tokuger.
Okay, I'll come. Okay, I'll once I reach there, I think I'll really like it. Cause I'm enjoying Tokyo at the moment. Cause previously I had dropped around I think after episode 5 or something. Now I'm continuing from I started with episode 1 again. It's getting fun. Only thing is that I'm taking it pretty slow. Cause important now is to watch them all at once.
Okay, you're starting to break up. I only got like half of that at most.
Okay, sorry about that.
Um,
My internet just died for a second.
yeah. Should we just call it here?
Yeah, you should call it here.
All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday for Rio Soldier, Wednesday for Kamen Rider Zero, and next Thursday for more Beast Morphers. See you next time.
Bye bye.